Hey guys, my name is Jacob. I'm a sports photographer based here out of Mammoth Lakes, California, and I shoot primarily trail and ultra running events. I do shoot some other sports and some landscapes and things like that, but running is my primary focus. And I thought today I'd take an opportunity to just tell you about some of the gear that I'm using here in 2022, why I chose that gear, and give you some example shots of when I would use different pieces of gear or different lenses for different scenarios. So let's start out with just the camera bodies I'm using. I'm currently shooting on two bodies. My main body is the new Sony a7 IV. The reason I chose to purchase that was because I do a mix of still photography and video work, and for the price, the a7 IV is definitely kind of the leader of the pack in my mind. Coming from a Sony background and already being familiar with the menu system and just the setup of the Sony cameras, I like the idea of sticking with that. Plus my lens investment was already on the Sony side. So the a7 IV is my main body. My backup body is the Sony a7R II, which is quite an old body at this point, but does a great job. It's a 42 megapixel sensor. It is a stills focused camera, so I don't do any video work on that body. But it's a great handy backup body to have in the bag. So that's the bodies. All right, so let's get into lenses. So I basically shoot all of my races with two main lenses. The first of which is the Sigma 24-70 f2.8 art lens. It's a great lens, and often when we're shooting trail running races, we're in tight confined spaces between some trees, and so sometimes we're in tight quarters and we need that wider angle, like at 24 to 30 millimeters, just to give ourselves a little bit of distance from the subject and get that shot. The other instance where I'm going to use a wider lens like the 24-70 is if I'm trying to capture the kind of the essence of a landscape course. So sometimes I'm up on a mountain ridge or somewhere really scenic. I'm shooting a sunrise, and I'm going to kind of place that subject or the runner maybe in a lower third of the shot, or he's kind of a small part of a large landscape. So that's kind of the main time when I'm going to use that 24-70, and often I'll just keep that on my backup body and use that here and there if I'm going from spot to spot. It's not my main lens, but it is a great one. I've been super happy with it. I considered the G Master 24-70, but for the price I went with the Sigma, and I've been really happy with it so far. The other lens I'm shooting on, which is kind of my main workhorse, is the Sony G Master 70-200 f2.8. It's an amazing lens, it's incredibly sharp. There's tons of options for programming the buttons and changing from autofocus to manual focus right there on the lens. So if I'm shooting really low light or a difficult focus situation, sometimes I'll swap that over to manual focus and shoot manual. But yeah, that's kind of my go-to lens for probably 80% of my sports stuff, is that 70-200. Gives me a little bit more range, and I can kind of hide out in a bush or on a rock or something, and as runners come by, I can sort of snipe them with that longer lens. And I also just really enjoy that very compressed look when I'm shooting at 200, where it really separates the subject from the background. So that's kind of it as far as lenses go. I talked about bodies, I talked about lenses, some other miscellaneous stuff I carry around, and a little bit of cleaning solution and a lens wipe to clean lenses. Sometimes when we're shooting races we get dust and stuff all over our cameras, so it's nice to have these on hand in the camera bag so that if you get sprayed with some dust or something, you're not having that speck of dirt ruining all your shots. Another thing I carry when it comes to cleaning is just one of these little blowers. If I'm swapping lenses, I always give it a couple squirts right there into the sensor, make sure everything is all cleared out and clean. so that I'm getting clean shots without those pesky specs. Kind of an add-on thing that I'll do sometimes is if I want to shoot a little bit of behind the scenes footage or something like that, I always carry this little GoPro. It's just a Hero 7, great little camera, and I carry this little hot shoe mount for the GoPro, so I can actually stick it on top of my camera body, and as I'm shooting I can either face it towards the subject and track them going by, or if I'm shooting a talking head piece with myself or a little vlog or something like that, I'll spin the GoPro around so it's facing me, and then I can kind of talk about what I'm doing or show the scene or whatever it may be. So the only two mounts I carry are that hot shoe mount and just the telescopic selfie stick. So great handy tool. Everybody should have a GoPro. You can throw them around, beat them up, and they're super tough. The other thing I'll carry around on occasion is a drone. So sometimes I'll have requests for video or stills, aerial stills from a client, and so the drone I'm carrying is the DJI Mavic 2 Pro. Typically I'm just carrying one battery. Usually I'm not flying it for too long, so one battery usually does the trick for a single day event, and then if it's multi-day I can go charge that later on. If I'm doing video, I'm carrying ND filters both for my DSLR or my mirrorless bodies as well as the drone, so that I can shoot in the proper frame rate. If I'm getting crazy doing some video work, I'll bring along the Ronin S. It's a pretty big gimbal, but if I'm doing some tracking shots of elite runners or something like that, or I'm doing a profile piece on somebody, I'll carry that gimbal around in a separate case, and so that I can get that nice, smooth, silky footage and some slow-mo stuff or whatever I might need. Yeah guys, so I think that's about it. Like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below and I'll get back to you guys as soon as possible. And I'll put links to all the pieces of gear that I'm currently using in the description so you guys can find out more about them if you're interested. And if you like the video, you want to see more of this stuff, comment, like, subscribe, do all the things, and hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got some value out of this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.